All right, let's start. Welcome to this September Exportia Lab. This September edition is about getting ready to export to Europe. And we are going to tackle that in 30 minutes, as usual, as any Exportia Lab. And let's start. All right, so wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to reach 1 million euros in sales for your business? And what we are going to talk about today is getting ready to be able to reach that goal. So that's we are going to look at the first step in that process. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. All right, so we're talking today about export readiness. Let me just see a lot of big bunch of people coming up. So today is our September Exportia Lab, 30 minutes, short and sharp, about being ready to export to Europe. And we are going to start. So the objective is to see how a business can get ready with the objective of reaching, wouldn't it be wonderful to reach 1 million euros in sales? And what we're looking at today is how to get ready for that. So there's a lot of new people and there's a lot of regulars as well. So I'm sorry for the regulars, you already know me. So I'm just gonna introduce myself for the newbies. We have a few newbies today. Welcome to the new people to this Exportia community event. And so I'm Christelle, I'm your host. I'm the founder of Exportia. I have 20 years plus of sales experience into the European market. My business, Exportia, we have a track record of building multi-million euros and scaling multi-million small businesses to their first million euros in sales and beyond. And we, as of today, we manage a network of about 75 plus European distributors, and we also build and manage Europe-wide sales teams. I'm an author and I'm writing my third book, but the second book, which is called The 4 Steps, won the Australian Best Business Book for Sales and Communication. And we're happy to gift that to our community. Exportia provides an outsourced European sales and marketing team. And we have offices in Europe, so France, and also in Australia. Some of our customers include CleanSpace. We've worked with them for 9 years. They're a respiratory protection device, and we have helped them scale the business and enter and scale the business into the European market. We've worked Redac is one of our previous past customer. We worked for them for about 10 years, and we also help them scale in the European market. We also have Telematica, which we are working with today, and they are today present and exhibiting in Berlin with some of our team members to promote their technology for rail and tramway. Originally, I come from IBM. I've worked there for a number of years, managing large key accounts in Europe for insurance and banking, selling all kinds of technology to them. And then in 2006, I did set up Exportia. And so why am I sharing that with you today? Why are we talking about getting ready to export to Europe? One of the reasons why we're doing this is, as one of my customers says all the time, for a small business, exporting is gambling time and money. So this is a risky exercise, and there is always a fine balance for a small business. It's all about minimizing risk and maximizing sales, and also making sure that you do that in a very speedy manner. You want to have get to your first sales as soon as possible, basically, not to burn too much cash. Typical challenges that non-European businesses face in Europe is they don't always know where to start. They secure the wrong partner. Sometimes they hire too soon, or they underestimate the European workplace laws in specific countries, which can be quite constraining, or they underestimate local cultural habits. All right, this is the usual framework we go through. This is our methodology with the 4 steps, but today we are going to focus on that very, very first step, which is export readiness. What do you need to do to be successful and to prepare successfully for your entry into the European market? And the first step is being ready. So we are going to look at that export readiness diagnostic. How are we going to do that together today? We are going to look at 4 key success factors. First one will be dashboard, and which we will talk a bit more in detail on what does that mean. What do we call dashboards in our methodology? Product, we're going to look at your product. We are going to look at team, your organization, and we are going to look at customers and leads. So we are going to go through those 4 key elements. The first one is dashboard. And feel free to ask any question as you go, and I'm happy to respond. So we are going to start with sales targets in Europe. We're going to talk about export budget and funding options. All right, let's start with why is that important for you as a business, wanting to go into the European market, to have in mind what's your overall sales target. You need to have in mind what's the European market represents for your business in terms of potential revenue. The reason it's important to do that is persistence pays off, and staying and getting results in the European market takes a while, and you want to always remember what your end goal is. So if you think that within the next 3 years you could aim for a target of 5 million, then you need to build the building blocks to get there. And that's also a way to get your organization to put the European market on a high priority in the agenda, and to make sure it doesn't fall on the last priority, right? So it's important to be persistent, think long term in Europe, and therefore it's important for you to have the goal and put this market as a strategic market. In terms of defining your revenue target, what's important is to help you define that is, what's your competitors' presence like? What's a realistic market share when you're a new business coming in? Let's be realistic. And what are the market conditions as well? So I think that's the first thing that is quite important, is having that target in your head when you go into the Europe. And then that's what allows you to allocate the right budget to it. So how am I going to make that happen? How much funding do I need to implement that? And there's one thing that you need to consider is, in the initial stages, you may not generate revenue immediately. It may take a while. For some of our customers, we generate the million after 2 years, and the first month or sometime a bit longer. So are you able to sustain that sales and marketing effort with your own funding, with your domestic sales, with government funding and support? Or how quickly are you hoping to generate revenue in that market? So in terms of defining a budget to get there, you have to also do some assumptions in terms of your market research costs, your travel, and you have to plan for that. And then, but having your key sales target in mind to put that in perspective as well. All right, in terms, now we've done the first key success factor. Now we are going to the second one, the product. And we are going to talk about 3 principles, 3 things that are quite important. And I'm sure that Denise, who is here, would be super familiar with that. Being compliant is one of the key success factors. So in Europe, it's quite important for a product to be compliant with European regulation before you sell. It is a very important thing to check. And there's a lot of consultancy specialized in compliance and certification. I remember once being about to hop on a plane to go to Europe and having that phone call from a company in having a medical device, being a medical device manufacturer, telling me, well, we've been selling to Europe for a while and for a few years, and do we really need to comply with CE? So I was just like, oh my goodness, yes, you do. You have to check your compliance requirements before you sell. Super important, really. European customers are going to ask you before they even talk to you, what's your compliance like? Can you send me your certificates? Super important. And so be compliant is the first thing. The second is protect your intellectual property. So whether it's your brand with a trademark or your product name with a trademark, maybe your company name, depending on what you want to emphasize, and you want to have an IP lawyer help you do the search. Can you use that name? Is that safe to use? Is there not somebody else using it? Are you allowed to use it when you commercialize? But also protect your own brand, your own, make sure no copycat will come in the market with your brand. So it's also important to protect yourself. You can use the Madrid Protocol to protect your, in multiple countries. Patents, I mean, engineers and R&D teams would know that better than I do. So protecting your intellectual property and your innovation through patents, there's copyrights, there's trade secrets. And there's some customers decide that the speed of innovation is their way to protect the intellectual property. So having a strategy around protection of your intellectual property for Europe is quite important. I have to say that usually Europe is not the worst country in terms of people are usually respectful of IP, but better be safe and protect your it happens as well that other businesses have used your name without knowing it. It is so you have to be aware of that and adjust to it. So important, being IP protected. Third point in the product category. Is there any questions so far? I'm just trying to have a look. So far, no questions. The other thing is being uniquely positioned against your competition. And it's important for you before you go into the European market to know who your European competitors are, or if there's very large multinationals coming from the US or coming, how are they positioned in Europe? Are they almost a household brand over there or a household name? Are they big? And so how do you compare against them? Again, a European client will ask you that question. They will ask you, how does your product compare with that? So you need to be ready. And you need to have also your price positioning aligned with that positioning. If you're a premium position product. If you're a premium product, have your premium positioning ready, and also have your price list ready in euros. It is also important. If you don't have my book, I would recommend you ask us for a free copy and you have a look at how to price the price list, how to formalize a price list for your product and a distributor price list as well. It's quite important to do that well. So no time to cover that today, but we have also some templates online available for free on our website. Okay, ask us in the chat, send us an email if you need some resources for that. All right, so we've said compliant, IP protected, uniquely positioned for the product key success factor. Now, third one, we are going to look at team. We are going to talk about the business owner, the entire team and responsibilities. All right, so I chose that very nice fish who's trying to look big. And as we are small, medium-sized businesses coming into Europe, and we are trying to make it, and sometimes we are talking to very large European corporates, well, sometimes we need to look bigger than what we are. And we need to be credible. So I love business owners because they are the driving force of the business and they will put all the energy and effort and they will drive their company to international markets and to Europe. But the downside to that is they have little bandwidth. They don't have a lot of time to follow up after their business trips when they've talked to European customers. It means that they're so busy, they're not very responsive. So that presents a risk if they are at the forefront of the international strategy. Also, if I'm a very large business like Airbus or like Bayer, and I see the business owner coming and talk to me, I'm thinking, looks like a small, very micro business. It looks like a small business. So be careful of always only having your business owner or your CEO at the forefront. You need to, that takes me to my next point, engage your entire team in that export project is critical for you to be ready to export to Europe. And you see my little penguins, they're pointing to the neighbor. We need to make sure people know. I loop back to the sales target. People in the entire business know that this European market is critical. And if there's somebody calling from Europe with a funny accent, we have to look after that call like it's the new king of England, the new king calling you. Right? So you have to be the entire team has to be engaged in the process, has to be on deck, has to be able to support whoever the person is in charge with Europe. We can't just rely on one person, create a team around that person to be supported, to make sure we're responsive and we look after those European customers. And that you look like a sizable organization that a large European multinational can deal with the full support of the business, right? It's very important. So what you can do is give everybody a responsibility, whether they are operations, whether they're marketing, whether they're logistics. They have a responsibility and a role in the process. All right, last fourth, we were coming almost to an end. Oh my God, I hope you guys are enjoying the presentation. Fourth, leads and customers, critical. It's a pillar that is critical to be successful and be ready. So 2 things you need to do, have a track record and a value proposition. Let me tell you why. Your product, before you go into the European market and you start advertising it to Europeans, needs already to have been validated by the market, by your own domestic market. And you must have buying customers. We can't go, I know startups sometimes they're like, well, my biggest market, depending on the industries, my biggest marketing is in Europe. I'll just go straight there without selling into my home market. My home market is too small. And so basically what I should do there instead is secure a few customers that are going to be my track record, and I'm going to use that track record to make sure that I am a credible partner for European customer. Okay, the first question that European customers are going to ask you is, who are your customers? If you're an Australian business, they're going to ask you, who are your customers in Australia? If you are a Ghanaian business, they're going to say, who are your Ghanaian customers? Who's buying from you? If you're an American business, they're going to ask you, who are your US customers, right? Very important. All right, focus on your ideal customer. So before you go into the European market, define your target. Your target is your ideal customer. It means to which customers are you adding the most value? Where, for those customers, how do you articulate a value proposition where you can say, so let's say I'm targeting the chemical industry. This is a problem they have, price increase, price inflation. This is my solution, cost saving machinery. And the outcome is I make them save about 10% of their cost. So you need to know precisely for your ideal customers, for which you already have in your home market a track record, what is your value proposition, what problem they have, how your solution does help them solve it, and what's the outcome, what do they get out of it. All right, let me wrap up. Dashboards, have a sales target for the region, make it a priority, and making sure that the business knows this is a sales target and put it long-term. Europe goes long-term. They think long-term. Have your export budget to get your milestones ready to that target. Think about funding, government funding, raising funds. Or domestic market sales, or how quickly do you need to generate sales to support the export effort. Number two, sorry, mixing up my fingers. You need to be compliant, protected and positioned, have a unique positioning, have a product that is compliant with European regulation, have your intellectual property protected, protect your brand names, your product brand names, and your innovation before you go. Engage the entire team. Make sure if it's your business owner, the driving force to the European market, which is often the case in small to medium-sized business, make sure he has or she has a team around them to be able to support that effort as a team, even if it's an export manager or an international sales manager doing all kind of different things. Make sure they have a team around them, very important, and that the responsibilities for everyone on the European market is defined, so that it's not like, oh no, it's not me, it's you, it's not me, it's you. Let's avoid that. Then know precisely what ideal customer target you are going to hit in Europe, and for that you need to focus on the ones where you have the best track record, where you know you have a very strong value proposition, you know their problem, you know how your solution solves it, and you know what the outcome, right? So you're ready. I think you're ready. If you've done all of that, you're ready to start. You're ready to start the beginning of a successful market entry. If you're not quite sure, You can also do an export readiness diagnostic on our website. It's ready and functioning. We'll have a new version. If you go in a few months, you'll see there's a new version if you've done it before. Maybe some of you have done it before. We are currently revamping it. Okay, what's next, people? Because we're about to wrap up. Now you are actually ready to work on those 4 key success factors when you prepare to go to the European market. The goal, you are minimizing your risk and you're saving time by doing that. There's no point not, going there and doing a whole marketing effort and the European client telling you, oh, by the way, where is your compliance? And then you being stuck. Right, so start to put those 4 key success factors in place. A challenge for you, in that list, there may be something you haven't done for your business. Pick one action, implement it, get your team around you to start to work on it to make sure you minimize your risk. So let me know how you do on your challenge. Just send me a message on LinkedIn. All right, is there any questions so far? There's a mix of newbies and quite experienced exporters in the audience, so don't be shy, just go for it. While we get those first questions, even if you have any question on something else about the European market, just go for it, don't hesitate. I just want to let you know that I'm going to run, as per our Exportia Lab, a series of 3 episodes around selling successfully to Europe with e-commerce. That's a more and more important topic for our exporters. And so on episode 1, we are going to talk about euro exchange and how you minimize the risk of currency exchange, foreign exchange with the euro. And so Martin from Iburi, who is an institution that is backed by Santander Bank, will actually talk to us about that, and he'll talk about cash flow management. That will be episode 1. There will be 2 more episodes after that on that topic. So watch this space. The first episode will be 19th of October, where we'll talk about e-commerce and managing the euro exchange rate risk. Another news that I wanted to let you know, we are about to relaunch our export community in our LinkedIn group. So exporters that are or want to be exporters or current advanced exporters will be invited to join, and are very welcome to join. So I will be posting about it on LinkedIn as well, and invite exporters to the European market or future exporters to join the community. It'll be a support group from exporters, and I hope I will see you on there. Just the contacts, you know where to reach us. Feel free to reach out at any point in time. We have 2 more minutes, and I would like to thank you for your attention and for staying with me for 30 minutes. I hope to see you on the 19th of October, everyone. I'll stay a few more minutes on the line if anyone has a question they would like to chat to me about. Nice to see you all. See you soon. All right, people. Let me know if you have any question. Feel free to reach out. Very happy to to respond before I wrap up. Nice to see you, Pablo. Thank you. Thanks for coming. See you soon. All right, I'm going to wrap up. Wish you all a very nice evening, nice day, wherever you are, and I will see you very soon. Bye.